Hello. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight? It's Diane from Stamping with Diane. I'm coming to you live from Innisfil, Ontario, just north of Toronto. It's been a great few days, busy times, and lots of fun. So I would love to know if you watching tonight, if you had a chance to use the technique I taught you last week. So last week on our tea and cards, using our vintage tools stamp set, last week I showed you how you can add color to an embossing folder, either by coloring inside the folder or by using your blending brushes inside the folder or finishing it off with some blending brushes after the folder has gone through. So let me know in the comments if you have tried that technique, if you've tried adding color. So this was our first card last week, Strong, Solid, and Dependable, and showcasing lots of the vintage tools down the side with the very vanilla. And I put the bricks and mortar, excuse me, backdrop on there. So tomorrow is a great day to place an order with Stampin' Up. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to help you to do that. Tomorrow, 15% off virtually every stamp set in the annual catalog. That's our big one. That's our main one. So there's everything in there. There are some holiday stamp sets in there, as well as every other occasion, all of our basic ones. That's the catalog that has the dies and all of our cardstock as well. But tomorrow, one day only, 15% off the stamp sets in that catalog. So I will be placing an order around 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. So if there's just one or two sets that you would like and you are local to me for pickup, then please let me know and I'd be happy to add your order onto my group order. So I will be placing that by 7 p.m. tomorrow. So go ahead and make your wish list. Now I have posted the list on this page, on my Facebook page. If you click on that, you'll see the discounted prices, but you don't even need to refer to that. When you go to the website tomorrow and click on any of those stamp sets, the discounted price will automatically show up. So no need to add anything extra when you're doing that. So I'd love to get into our second project tonight. And also just keep in mind that I do Sweet and Simple classes every month, okay? So always check my link tree for the most current class coming up. And it's usually the third Friday of the month, unless there's something going on that week and I had to bump it to the fourth. But it is a Friday class because I offer an afternoon time slot and an evening time slot, especially as we're heading into winter. Some people don't like to go out after dark, and I'm kind of one of those people who prefer to stay in once dark settles in. So I offer the afternoon time slot and the evening time slot for that. As with all of my classes, if you can't join me in person, I can always provide a Zoom or a virtual option for you. So I can just send the materials to you and either do a live Zoom with you or send you tutorials, whatever. So we can make that happen for you. So say hello in the comments if you're able to be watching live, and even if you're watching the replay, please say hello as well. Hello, Carol Ann, nice to see you. I hope you've had a great day. And okay, I'm gonna flip it around here, I think, and get started. Up above in the comment or in the description for this video, you should see the supply list of everything I'm using this evening, and you should also see the link to my link tree for all upcoming classes. I'm gonna have, sorry, got a phone call there. I'm going to be, I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh yes, uploading all of the tonight's video to YouTube. Okay, so that's where it's going to go. You will see this on YouTube. All right, tonight's project is going to pair some of our Regal colors with the designer paper called He's All That. You saw me feature it a few weeks back, and it had all of the really great designs. We're using both sides of this one tonight. And that's paper set also came with 2 sticker pages. All right, so our basic card base is going to be with Early Espresso. It's the regular 8.5 by 5.5, scored at the 4 1/4, but then I have removed 3/4 of an inch from one end. 3/4 of an inch, so that my front of my card is just a bit smaller than the back. All right, so I've got this little space here, and that is a perfect way to be able to feature one of the designer series papers. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. So I make this strip an inch wide so that I'm sure to have that showing, and I'm putting it right up to the corner, right up flush with the edges. And if I've made it too long, which is what I prefer to do, make it too long than too short, then I just flip it over. That end's fine, but I've just got a hair too long here, and I'm going to snip that off that way. So there's that, and then I'm going to fill in this piece. Because it's a dark color, I like to put a lighter insert in there so you can easily read the sentiment, whatever you decide to stamp or to write on your card for the lucky recipient of this fabulous card. Then you'll want to put this in here. So I have an uncle who's turning 80 today, so I'm going to dedicate this card to him because he is definitely one of these strong, solid, and dependable types. So this one's for you, Uncle Wayne. All right. I've got a square of basic black and a square of the designer paper. And this one has a bit of the black in it, and so I thought that would coordinate well. So I've just cut it 1/4 of an inch smaller, so I'll go ahead and adhere this for the front. I really like this designer paper, and it's fun to find another stamp set that coordinates so well with it, because all of our papers, of course, can be used with more than one stamp set. So that's going to end up like so, but I thought I would show you a little bit of heat embossing tonight. So I'm going to use these little nails. So pop that on my stamp, on my block, on my clear block. Now I don't always show you how all of this works, but in our catalog now we have an embossing kit, and it comes with the embossing buddy. So what you do with this is you just gently rub the surface that you're going to be heat embossing. And the reason you do that is it takes away any static off that paper. Then instead of using an ink, we use the Versamark. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap the same way I do with an ink pad. Just gently tap. And I just want this to show underneath. So I'm going to kind of set that there. That's where it's going to go. But I want these little nails to be down here. Now, it shows up as a tone on tone. I hope you can see that. I'll open this up so I'm getting a nice flat. And I'm just going to keep turning these so that I get good coverage of these little nails on the card. And I think that's probably just fine right there. So I have used, as I said, the Versamark marker. You could just leave it like that, but it does have a little bit of a stickiness to that Versamark. So I'm finished with that. I can clean the Versamark the same way I clean all of my stamps, and that can be with my scrub, wet on one side and dry on the other. And now I'm going to bring in a fresh piece of paper, just scrap paper, to sit underneath my surface. And then I'm going to use some of our clear embossing powder. Our embossing powders come in sets of 3. This particular set is called the Basics, and it has white, black, and clear embossing powder. So I'm just going to generously pour that on the Versamark images. And I said generously, but I didn't go generously enough in the corners here. And then give it a light tap to make sure I don't have any extra showing here. There we go. And there's, it looks like something here. And with the clear embossing powder, you're going to see it come out a little bit differently than how our embossing powders usually work. So then this is how I funnel this back in. Just kind of make a fold on this paper. Remember I said it was a clean piece so that it doesn't have anything else, any other colors of embossing powder on there. And then I just funnel it right back into its dish. Sometimes I dump my powders out into a larger dish. Just is personal preference how you want to do that. So these embossing powders last forever because you hardly use any of the powder. Okay, so this is the look we have, but now I'm going to bring in my my heat tool, and I'm going to turn it on. So it's going to sound a little bit like a hairdryer. I won't talk over it, but I'll let you see the magic happen. You should see this turn into a clear. Now it does take a minute to get up to the temperature, and then you'll see it happen quite quickly. And there we go. So it looks like it's been done with black embossing powder, but it's the clear. So depending on what is underneath it is what's going to pop. So that's kind of fun. So before we do any more attaching there, I've tried 2 different colors tonight, and you're going to vote and help me decide which color to use. So I'm going to use this image tonight, the plain. And it's going to go with the sentiment that says, "You are plain awesome," with the pun on words there. So I've chosen the smoky slate. And these are so detailed. You're going to get that etched look on there. That looks good. And I'm going to stamp it on an old olive oval. Now I use the Stitched Shapes dies because I have those, but there are other dies, there we go, that have ovals, other sets that you may have that have an oval. It doesn't even have to be a perfect oval, it could be some other similar shape. So the Stitched Shape ovals are, the Stitch Shape dies are retired, but there is an oval set that you may have. So anything like that would work. And now I'm going to use the sentiment. And again, you're going to help me vote on this. So we've got this one, "You're plain awesome." And I'm going to do strong, solid, and dependable. And I've chosen the Sahara sand to coordinate for those 2. So strong, solid, and dependable. And "You're plain awesome." There it is. So this is one of our cling stamps. So the cling stamps mean it's got the rubber backing on it. So I'm going to ink this up with our early espresso because that's the color of my card base. And I'm going to stamp it here. "You're plain awesome." And I'm going to stamp a strong, solid, and dependable as well. And I'll put it over here. And I thought that this oval punch, our double oval punch, would be handy for tonight's card. So the You're Plain Awesome, this double oval punch has a straight oval and then a scalloped oval, and they coordinate really nicely. So I'm going to use, okay, I need to trim just a little bit just to make sure this fits properly where I want it to sit. So slide this in from the top. I could use the large, but for this one I want to use the smaller You're Plain Awesome. I'm still not quite happy. I want that to be a little bit lower. Make sure it's centered. Looks better. No, it doesn't. Trim a wee bit more. There. Okay, now I can get that right in where I want it. So that's centered, You're Plain Awesome. And let's do this one with the scalloped, and we'll decide if we want to use both of them on the front of the card or just one. So we've got an option here, and now I'd like to make the large scalloped with in black as well. So I like that, You're Plain Awesome. And we'll decide if we want this on here as well. Oh, hi, Jessica. See you're watching too. Thank you. Okay, so for here, this is going to come on our card front, but I am going to wrap it with some of our baker's twine. Our baker's twine comes in a package of 5 colors. So a great value. So I like to put my adhesive along the edge here, and then I'm going to wrap this one, I think, 3 times. Once, twice, and 3 times. Maybe not quite that far apart. Let's put it a little closer together. Let's try that. There we go. And then snip off on the back. So I have both ends nicely secured with this adhesive. That's going to come up here. And I think I'll put that on with dimensionals. This is a good time to use up some of these edge pieces, so let's do that. I never want to waste these, so I'll put these larger squares kind of in the corners on my page. There we go, and I like to reinforce where I have put my baker's twine. And that's just going to really hold that in place. So that's going to end up like so on here. And now I'd like you to tell me, do you like the So Saffron or do you prefer the Old Olive? All right, so if you can type that in the box. Hi, Maureen. If you can type that in the box, which one you prefer, the Old Olive or the So Saffron. And in the meantime, we're going to, do you see our little, the tools, the little nails are down here. And we can put the You're Plain Awesome, or we could put this, both, Strong, Solid, Dependable, You're Plain Awesome, like so. I'm thinking we might just do this one. Okay, do I have any votes? So Saffron, So Saffron. Alrighty, let's do it. So let's put the So Saffron across our baker's twine here. Let it sit like so. And now we're ready to take off our backings of our stamping dimensionals. So fall is almost here. My goodness. Are you a traditional fall person? I love the colored leaves. We are heading away camping, and my favorite part of camping in September is seeing the fall colors. I've noticed my daughter and my newest grandson were visiting for the last few days, so I drove them back home to Huntsville this afternoon, and I was very surprised to see as many leaves turning already. Okay, I think we're going to do it like this. You're a summer person, Maureen. Okay. All right, so because this has been raised with dimensionals, I'm going to put some dimensionals just on the bottom part of my label here because I don't want to give it a second lift. And I'll just put some plain adhesive on the top of it. Hope I planned that properly. Yes, I did. And we're just going to pop that over here to the side. So I like how we've got the different ovals here. I feel that coordinates well with the geometric background. And yes, I love that So Saffron. And then we've used the clear embossing powder here underneath. Open this up. And here's a spot we could put that strong, solid, dependable in there. Of course, it doesn't need to be on the same color. Let's see how that shows up nicely here. So I'm going to leave the inside blank for you to decorate, except we will add a few of these little nails down in the corner, and we can use the early espresso for those. And we'll just pop that like so here, and why not put some over here as well. There we go. Okay, you are plain awesome. So who do you know that would appreciate a card like this? Oh, thanks, Maureen. I'm glad you like this one. So this was last week's Strong, Solid, Dependable. Here's our You're Plain Awesome, and I'll show you my original version. It is a little bit different. So this one does have the old olive, and I decided to put both on there. But what I did here was I punched the scalloped oval, and I actually cut it in half so that a little peak would come out on both sides there, just to kind of frame out both of those. So same idea. Of course, you can modify your cards if there's something you don't like about the way I've done it. And now finish it off with some of our rustic metallic dots. And I'm going to use one of the larger dots here. I might take your pick tool and another of the larger dots. Let's pop it over here, and one of the smaller ones. There, let's put it here. There we go. You're plain awesome. So this one's dedicated to my uncle whose 80th birthday is today. He is plain awesome for sure. All right. So there we go. Tomorrow is the stamp sale. You'll want to check that annual catalog. Almost every stamp set is on sale. And if you're unsure, just go to the website and the sale prices will show up tomorrow. They won't show up tonight because it's not on sale yet. Okay, so they will show up tomorrow. And no worries there. If there's just one or two sets that you'd like and you are local to me, I'm happy to add them to my order, which will be placed tomorrow night. All right, goodbye, my friends. I will see you next week for the next in the series. I think you're going to like it. Take care. Bye for now.